What's up, guys? Today's video is another one of those where I've got an idea relatively well formed, but I want some input from you guys so that we can flesh this out better. And it's all based around the single premise of why do you care about your style, or why do you want to dress better or dress more intentionally? Now, obviously this is the why. That's a big one, and that's something that I've been thinking about for years, but there was a new twist that came up onto this just with this last series of videos that I was doing for Dress Like a Man, and that was based on one comment, but then I got a bunch of other kind of follow-up comments and emails from other guys saying things that are similar, and it was basically some of the stuff that I was wearing in those videos you guys didn't consider to be particularly stylish. And I get that, because some of it was very intentionally basic stuff. For example, I had a normal Henley with just a simple field jacket over it. There's nothing really outlandish, nothing really attention getting, nothing really over the top, or even just that you would see me in an airport and say, that dude's stylish, that dude dresses really well, that dude dresses great. And I think that the problem that most guys have, and this is certainly a problem that I had as I started dressing better, is we confuse the idea, or it's based off of the assumption that in order to dress well, in order to dress intentionally, it means that other people have to recognize what you're wearing as, yes, that is stylish. And I think that that's a false assumption. I think that you have to dive in a little bit deeper and ask yourself, what is the purpose of dressing better? What is the purpose of being well dressed? And ultimately, it's not to have a reputation of being stylish. That in and of itself doesn't do us any good. Having a reputation or being known as stylish or a style guy, it doesn't matter on its own. That can be a side benefit, that can be a benefit, but even then, that's not an end in and of itself. So as I've thought about this, especially as I've taught guys in the Odysseus undertaking about this stuff, there are two things that I think are the real end goals. First one is that it improves the way that we act and the way that we see ourselves. We've talked about ideas like enclothed cognition, or just the amount of respect and self-respect and other things that come from dressing more intentionally. And that doesn't mean that you have to be overly stylish. It doesn't mean that you have to wear a suit all the time. It doesn't mean that you have to wear really loud clothes. It doesn't even mean that people have to recognize that what you're wearing is stylish. For example, take a white lab coat. Nobody sees that as something that is overly stylish, but when people put that on and they understand that it's a white lab coat, they carry themselves differently, they see themselves differently, and they act more confidently and as if they have more authority. So the first thing is what it does for our internal presence, or the way that we view ourselves and our relationship with the world. But then the second thing is what it does for our external presence, what it does as far as what we project from ourselves outward onto the rest of the world. Things like that you expect to be respected and that you deserve that. Things like you're disciplined and that you're a man who gets things done, or any other thing that is communicated from our clothing that goes out into the world. And again, that doesn't need to happen with the reputation of being exceptionally stylish. Not at all. You can dress very simply, you can dress very modestly, and still evoke things like discipline, power, and respectability very easily. And so it doesn't have to be that dressing intentionally or reaping the benefits of dressing well means that you have to be stylish or you have to have a reputation that way. And don't get me wrong, I get why we think that way. At least I think I get why we think that way, and I know why for a long time I thought that way. And it's because, think about it like this. You may be poorly dressed, you may be averagely dressed, but at some point you start this journey and you start to dress more intentionally. And somewhere within there, you start to gain a reputation of being a well-dressed guy. That's how people start to identify you. That is how people start to see you. And if you're like most men, then what you like to do is latch on to the things that you're good at, especially the things that you have a reputation for being good at, and then you want to get better at them. That's our nature, is we just have this ambition and this drive to take things that we're already inherently good at and try to get better and better at them. The problem there is that that's another false assumption as far as to get better at dressing well, to get better at having a reputation of being well-dressed and disciplined, means that you have to dress in a way that is more recognized by laymen as stylish or over the top, or wow, that guy's got a killer outfit, or man, I would never think about pairing those items together, but that looks awesome. And again, totally erroneous assumption. You can have guys who dress so simply, and in a way their whole wardrobe is so Spartan, but because of the way that it fits because of the way that it helps them view themselves, because of the way that it helps them communicate what their goals and their self-perceptions and what their expectations for the world are onto the world. That is being well dressed, and that is dressing intentionally, even if you don't look at an outfit like that and say, that is super stylish, or man, that looks awesome. So I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Like I said, I'm just starting to flesh out this idea, and I want to know where the holes in my reasoning are, or if you feel like I'm on the right track. Have you recognized something similar in your own interactions with people? Do you have things that you feel like are really super stylish, and then they don't benefit you as much as the things that you may think are a little bit more boring or a little bit more simple, but they actually get the job done better of improving your internal and your external presence? Leave me a comment below. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited to figure this out, and I will see you guys on the next one.